period, I was just like, there's so much to this. I really gotta, spend my life studying this.
And then when you started studying it, did you also think about did you have like a comparative of like, okay, so now this hip hop thing is a next level of Shakespeare? Because when we're brought up and taught, we're taught about one realm, an aspect of what a poet is.
A poet is.
Did you start being able? Were you able to start saying this is the new realm of that?
No, for me it was the opposite.
Oh,
So I first got into all that I just said, but then I was able to study Dante, who wrote the Divine Comedy, aka Dante's Inferno. And
hmm
when I studied that, I had such a greater appreciation for that because I had already been not just listening, to hip hop, but studying it, right? So when I saw that Dante wrote every line in iambic pentameter for 14,200 lines over his Divine Comedy, and every line had 11 syllables in it, and he had a rhyme scheme that was called terza rima. I'm like, what? Like, this is the original MC. And I recently taught a class at UCLA um, that was saying, was Dante the precursor to the modern day MC, the modern day rapper? And
right.
so it was pretty dope. I got to teach comparing Dante's poetry to, which I could do a whole class on in here, but Dante's poetry to modern day MCs, and drew comparisons that like no one ever thought of. So it was pretty. So I get the question, but mine was more reversed.
Okay. Yeah, I would say with me, it was, I didn't like the name. People ask me about my name, Wordsworth. They
Yeah.
think it's the poet. It's for me, it's the cartoon. So it's so weird sometimes with the origins of where all these things start.
Mhm.
As far as like a name, right? Because you mentioned different artists, and we know all these artists had names. Was your name always just straight Jeff Walker? What's your hip hop name? Did you have like, like
I've had a,
everybody had like MC such and such,
yeah, and I've had,
Wordsworth
I got
Steve,
that. Yeah,
all those things.
that's definitely a sore subject, man. My first like demo CD, I was called the Poetic Prophet,
Okay.
which was a, yeah, I mean, it was a little bit assuming, and then it became Jaywalker, but then I kept change. It was Jay Walker, and then I was like, well, J. Dot Walker, and then I'm like J. Dot Space Walker, and then I'm like, wait, hold on, Jay Walker, the poet. I'm like, man, I had too many such things, and so finally, I've just settled on Rhymecology because that's my ethos, that's my business, that's the way I live, and there it's easier to find than J. Dot Space Walker and all that. So like if you try to look me up, it's literally impossible. So now I'm just anything new is all just Rhymecology. But yeah, I've had a few different name monikers.
So, I've listened to you rap, and a lot of y'all, when you get a chance, go on to Instagram, Rhymecology Instagram. Check out the Instagram, and you'll see him rapping all the time, opening up different records he got, inspiration, teaching everything that he does on there.